Hello, my name is Bayden. Today we'll be talking about the Australian identity. We'll be covering things such as the flaws and limitations, the changes and the origins of the identity. First of all, what is the Australian identity? I can go and give you a long explanation about it, but a good place to look would be the text. And when I say text, I don't just mean books, but I mean things such as movies, poems, songs. Here's some classic examples. Waltzing Matilda, with the line, "Once a jolly swagman, can't buy the law." Now that just says Aussie all over. The word, the setting, just listening to it, that's Aussie to the max. And some other examples. The film Australia, it shows the hard-working attitude, the toughness we all have as Aussies, and mateship, and all that type of stuff. And one more example, Skippy the Bush Kangaroo, covers things like, the bush, mateship again, that type of stuff. Second, I mentioned that I was going to talk about the origin of the Australian identity. Now, the origin, you can look at many places. You could get some historian to give you an origin about it. You could look to a film or a book, but a good example is history. The history books of what would tell it. History moulded our identity in the way it is. Example, when we first arrived in Australia, the colonials. That's where we learned hard working. And Anzacs is where we learned mateship, and the type of things that make us Aussie are from these events. I couldn't really say it any better. These events valorized mateship, hard-working, carefree, Now, one thing we need to look at is the Australian identity tends to marginalise anyone who isn't a white bloke. A white bloke is a white Australian, is what's represented in the Australian identity. An important question to ask, besides how the Australian identity only shows white guys, its flaws and limitations extend. What its flaws are is it's holding on to a past long gone, a past that died when that way to go to. The Australian identity is changing, Australia is changing, and this identity is in the past. Like how many things need to stay, how many things need to change in the identity, some things need to stay. Some of our attitudes need to stay with the identity. Things like hardworking, carefree, mateship, all that type of stuff. Now, things that need to be added. The Australian identity needs to be more open-minded, accepting of things like religion, culture, gender, skin colour. Doesn't matter where, it needs to be more accepting. That's how the Australian identity is changing. Now, an important thing I came across when doing this was, how do teens see the Australian identity? We see it different from everyone. It doesn't resonate with us anymore. It's not naturalised to us like it is everyone else. In other words, it doesn't fit with us anymore. Now, one thing I noticed is, what a part of the Australian identity actually applies to us, because a lot of it doesn't. For example, the bush, that doesn't really apply to us as teens anymore. It makes no sense whatsoever. Another example is, example, how could an Indian kid really understand the idea of an identity that represents a white bloke? For one, they're not even white. Like, what if it's a young Asian girl? Doesn't make sense to them either. What it is, the Australian identity is changing. It needs to be more accepting. It needs to understand. It needs to change. Now, the last part of this was to design a poster. My poster is a simple poster, group of people and some lines. The poster itself just represents Australians, people from all over the world. You got an African, an Asian, an Indian, Aboriginal, Middle Eastern. You get the whole dealio. But the lines on the poster is, "We are one, but we are many." Oh, sorry about that. "We are one, but we are many, and from all the lands on earth we come. I am, you are, we are Australian." In other words, it says no matter where we come from, we're all Australian. It does not matter what part of the world, what culture, what religion, what skin colour. It doesn't matter. Now, I'm going to play a quick part from the song. Sorry about the dancing. Thanks, and done.